Peace and light, old guy Australia. Like, share, subscribe. Hit the notification button, then you'll know I'm doing a video. Dave's about to arrive. Got some chicken soup for you, Dave. Pumpkin and mushroom with chicken. Unreal. Sun's come out. It's been a pretty dismal, cold day here. We're about to go into the pub and have a couple of beers with Woodsies and maybe watch the football because we need distraction. Talking of distraction, does anybody know how to play the game chess? Most of you do. Very complicated game, and to be a grandmaster takes a skill not many have, tremendous amount of brain power and acuity, and good memory. But the thing about chess is it's not the move you make that's important. It's what you're trying to achieve. And chess is very difficult like that. Trying to understand what's in your head, in your opponent's head. You know, when they make a move, it's the move they're making isn't what you're looking at, it's what you think they might be going to do. And Klaus and the boys are like that. You know, we think that there's all these random events happening, or we don't, should say. Many people in the world think there's these random events happening, and they're not co-joined in any way. They're not coordinated, and they're all coincidental. But those of us who follow the truth know that there's dots to be joined everywhere. And it's really difficult because the people who've put together this plan, they know the plan. They have contingency plans, just like in chess. If you move a certain direction, then they'll have a contingency plan to move somewhere else and continue a strategy a different way. And these guys have got that. They've got the brain power, they've got the money, and they've got the plan. We don't know what that plan is. We know in the end they lose and that we win. But when that is, who knows? In the meantime, we're fighting on a million fronts, like spot fires. And we're constantly having our attention shifted everywhere. When you see something, as we've been told many, many times by many, many different people, when you see something happening, make sure you look around to what you might think is taking place. Look somewhere else. Coincidentally, 3 days ago, under the cover of darkness, New Zealand slipped into recession. The socialist government, led by Jacinda Ardern, but not her policies, have finally crumbled, and New Zealand has fallen into the ditch. Now, that's bad news for New Zealanders because they've been under the pressure of horrendous high-cost living expenses, food, fuel, you name it, for a decade. And they've also had some of the most harsh mandate laws under Jacinda Ardern. Now, we know that Jacinda Ardern isn't just anybody. She's one of Klaus's favourite people, having graduated from his Young Globalist Leader program, as did Macron, as did Trudeau, and many others. So when that billionaire trillionaire with his billionaire trillionaire mate sits up there in his weird spacesuit in front of all the world leaders who gather once a year at this secret meeting organised just by that organisation, that private organisation, the world leaders all sit there enthralled, enraptured. And he says to them, we've infiltrated every government in the world. He's talking to them. They're the ones who've done it. And the rest of the world sits back and goes, oh, shut up. There's more of that conspiracy. Oh, yeah. Not conspiracy theory. More of that conspiracy. Now, you may have seen the news that Joe Biden has decided, the poxy proxy president of the United States has decided to release all military information regarding aliens, etc., and spacecraft and bodies and whatever by the end of this year. Happy days. Don't worry about JFK. Tucker's got that covered. So a couple of weeks ago, a guy came out and he said that he had absolute proof and information that the military has got many, 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 many alien spacecraft. And they've had them for ages and have been utilising the technology from these things, etc., etc. Now, just a week prior to him, a guy came out and said he was in the Asian jungles somewhere on a mission he was a Navy SEAL, and he got caught unawares and surrounded by a group of soldiers who spoke American, had high-tech weaponry, and they disarmed them and had these Navy SEALs, there were 6 of them in this team, stand still, and they watched this alien craft land disengorging human trafficking, and it disappeared into the ether as quickly as I'd ever seen anything move. And these guys were then taken away and they were given the third degree and worse. When they tried to report it to their superiors, the superiors locked them into a non-disclosure agreement and threatened them with everything under the sun. And not long after that, him and his wife were abducted when they were leaving the base to go to a movie. Quite a harrowing story. Then we have a guy who graduated as the youngest sergeant ever in a particular military organisation in a desert in America. And he was called the voice of the base because whatever he said over the radio, everybody obeyed because of live firing, and the biggest live firing range in the world. And he gives testimony with Stephen Greer, if you watch that podcast, of how this massive thing just came in. He didn't know what it was. The thing was huge. They're not the shape of planes at all. And this thing was the biggest 2 football fields. And it just came in and hovered over the base. Nobody saw it. Nobody knew it was coming. They weren't programmed. There was nothing that was said to them that this thing was coming. It just appeared. And the 2 observers in the observation deck behind him were pretty excited about it. He was looking at them thinking, how come you're not, scared shitless like me? What the hell is this? And then they disappeared. And again, he was given a grilling and told that he couldn't give out any information, Now, these guys are coming forward because their lives are being threatened, and they figure if they go public, then they're going to be safer than they would be if they just remain silent. So you'll see distractions like this coming up because we wondered what scenario is going to come next. Another virus, more lockdowns, climate change lockdowns, smart city networks, alien invasion, economic world collapse. Oh, yeah, pretty much all those things. But in what order? We don't know the game they've got playing. We don't know their moves. We're just following and doing our best to kind of keep an eye on what's happening. There's some wonderful, wonderful people out there who are doing mountains and mountains of research and freedom of information requests in everywhere, including Chris Hipkins, who's a current stand-in Prime Minister in New Zealand. And the wonderful freedom of information requests have gone in regarding his direct communication with Klaus Schwab. That'd be good to see. In the meantime, keep an eye out. We think it's going to be an alien invasion. That seems to be the obvious one, I guess, because 2 of these witnesses that came forward, interestingly enough, both of them had the same story. They said they don't think it's the military. They said it's a covert group within the military and nobody knows who they are or who's funding them. But maybe Klaus and Bill have got a clue. Maybe they've got their own private NATO army ready to go. Makes sense to me. Peace and light, that old guy Australia. Like, share, subscribe, hit the notification button and you'll know when I'm doing a video.